Hello, beautiful bastards. My name is Wolf, and welcome back to the Gathering Storm Shaman. This is an update video, which will include some time code in the description box below, as well as a more mature last Epoch planner as to what my plans are in the future. We recently achieved the empowered monolith. That's currently where we are at, early days, and this is currently also a stage of progression, but also problem solving. You might have already noticed in the video clip itself, we're running out of mana, and perhaps some smarter people can figure it out, take a look at my actual build. We'll go over some of my decision making and such, but perhaps you can help me find some clean and some nice efficient ways of solving that don't necessarily include giving up dual wielding, because it's a lot of quality of life and AoE that comes with it. But yes, I am enjoying the playstyle, the enhancement shaman-esque playstyle, very battle magey. I'm very excited about how to push this build to its next level. Of course, however, and this is the unfortunate caveat, which I think has to be said to any build that isn't a falconer or a warlock, it isn't a falconer or a warlock, right? These builds are incredibly powerful. But I do believe if I get some more gear, because my gear right now in the gameplay that you can see is very scuffed. I don't even have my relic yet or a second unique weapon. I did get some nice pieces. I will go over them, but yes, we have lots to do. And yeah, let's just go over it and make sure that we know what's going on. And this is the second iteration of my build. I will continue to improve upon it, but until then, let us go through it and I will explain to you why I did the things that I have done. All right, as you can see, we are fully resistance capped. As a shaman, you will continue to get 50% resistances, elemental resistances, if you have a totem out. So this is capping fire and cold as well. We have crit immunity, and there's no weird LP item shenanigans going on, so it should be pretty simple to set up for most people. Now, let us start with the simple things. We are a lightning-based build, so we are going to go and get Shred Lightning. We are also armor-based, so we have increased armor and flat armor. This will help against hits, but also against dots due to the glove. We have some poison res just to help with gearing, and sustain is supported by the Grand Hunger of the Void. If you think you have enough sustain, that's okay. You can also go for some crit multi, where we have crit elements that is built, some void res if you really want some super easy gearing, or even some crit chance, which will facilitate some open slots on your gear as well. It's up to you, but I have decided to go with this. In terms of the idols, it's flexible. It's pretty much just patching up the holes in your armor and defense. The big two are kind of mandatory. The bottom one here that I have is a thorn summoning one. You need one of those mandatory, and then you can opt for either cold lightning damage. You can also opt for the one that I have here at the bottom, increased spell damage if you have an active totem. But there is also, if you want more tank, that is increased effect of boars, which might be too bad considering compared to a druid, we are noticeably squishier. But yes, less frequency of expending storm stacks is also really, really nice, because the way we are expending our storm stacks is just relying upon that increase the more you have. So slowing it down doesn't really affect us, because we're going to hit 50 and then it's going to become instant anyway. And then we are just benefiting from the flat spell damage benefit from this fully, which is very, very nice. Aside from that, yes, as you can see, it's just patchwork vitality for the life, necrotic resistance. Same thing down here. The 1x2s are increased health and resistances to help cap. The small ones, armor and health wherever we can get it. And a little bit of cold rest to patch it up to make sure that we are over capped with the totem active. Very simple work, very easy, very flexible. Now, in terms of the gear, the Tusked Great Helm is a wonderful piece. I think it's almost mandatory on this build. On top of that, we have attunement, chance to gain a storm stack, obviously. This is going to be so nice if it's a good roll, because of the fact that it's going to help you push to 50 so much faster. It's so good. On top of that, we have a little bit of reduced bonus damage taken. I have sacrificed just a generic flat health for this, but kept the increased health. Now, the armor plus reduced bonus damage you can also either do on your chest, on your belt, or on your glove, or on your boots. You just need to make sure that you have two of them somewhere on your gear in combination with the boots to cap your crit immunity. Alternatively, if you can find yourself like a very nicely rolled tier 6 or a tier 7 version of this mod, you only have to have one on your gear, and then with the boots, if they are rolled nicely, should end up giving you a nice crit immunity as well and opening up another affix, which is very, very good. But that's future work, right? Right now, just getting 2 on your gear is very nice. Speaking of what is also very nice, I have gone for the Bone Amulet. I think it's pretty much mandatory due to the resistance requirements. A little bit of spell crit to help me cap out my spell chance, or my spell critting chance, together with crit multi, because crit. But any kind of damage mod will be great here, as long as you don't forget to pick up a little bit more shred armor and frailty on your gear as well. And I just happened to put it on my amulet, but you can also get it on your gloves, and some pieces you can even get on LP, on weapons, or perhaps even on your rings and such. It is flexible, right? It's not mandatory to be on your build, specifically on your amulet, as long as it's somewhere on your build, right? Speaking of what's on my build, I've opted for not 1 but 2 Tempest Maws. The axe is just too good. It gives us everything we need: lightning pan, damage, even a little bit of reduced mana cost, some attunement. Very, very good. And it's a pretty relatively common unique, so you can find one hopefully, or buy one these days with LP, and then you're aiming for things like attack speed. That's the one thing that's really missing from this weapon. If you can get like a nice attack speed roll on this weapon, it's perfect. It's actually perfect for this version of the build, and you want 2 of them then, right? Speaks for itself. On the chest, we have opted for spell damage right now. If you find yourself too squishy, you can also go with the more heavy armor version. But other than that, the Gathering Storm plus 2 levels, or even plus 3, of course, if you have some wonderful increased tier 6 or tier 7 versions, which is what the ideal situation would be. Attunement, because that's what we're scaling for damage, as well as double health. Flat health, increased health, very, very good. You can also get the armor mod, or at least the crit, reduced bonus damage taken from critical strikes mod on your chest here, if you just happen to get that. Otherwise, double health is the way to go. We have 2 opal rings. We're using attunement and a damage mod. I've opted for some crit right here, but you can also go for increased spell damage if that's just easier to get. And then, of course, we want 2 big resistances for void to cap that out. And then we just get some additional flat health to round out the build. Very, very good. On the belt, we have some increased lightning damage. We also have the ward cleanse and double health. But you can also get the crit reduction mod here if you wanted to. Although I think it's less effective because you have to give up hybrid health. So it's probably better to have on your helm, or on your body for that matter, or even on your gloves if you don't have to give up the hybrid health, right? Which you would probably have to do otherwise, which is unfortunate. Speaking of the boots, Citadel boots are pretty much mandatory because of the implicit on it. Reduced bonus damage taken from critical strikes. It's how we reach that cap. On top of that, we have more attunement, more movement speed. Gotta go fast. The crit reduction mod, as well as hybrid health. Very, very good. I already went over the rings. So the glove, this is a phenomenal glove because it also allows us to have this high armor that we will end up getting, and then have it applied to damage over time, which is very, very good in corruption, high corruption especially. We are opting for more attack speed, as well as some more attunement. I got and received more shred armor. I think being able to shred armor very, very quickly to high numbers is very good for hit builds. So we want to get that as well. It's not mandatory. You could go for a different mod here once you have your thorn totems sorted, but more shred can never hurt. And then I opted for more hybrid health because that's just really, really strong. Of course, we also went with the mandatory storm carved testament. Just an incredible, wonderful stat stick, bunch of physical rest, which is really, really nice, and helps you auto summon your totem. So you only have to press your movement skill, your war cry, and your actual attacking skill if you keep this up. It's very, very nice. So, having that said, let's actually go talk about the passives. As you can see, we have the basic 20 passives for Primalist, some health, more attunement and resistances. We enable dual wielding, and then we have some more health. Nothing super spectacular here or super weird. Beastmaster tax, very, very good. We opted for 2 points in Boarheart. Who knows, we might add another one, but 2 points is more than fine with most of the attack speed steroids we have. On top of that, we have 10 points in Druid, just so that we have a little bit more health, a little bit more sustain, but more importantly, more of those delicious stats we're after. And then on the Shaman tree roll, the magic happens. We have currently 6 points in Shamanistic Infusion. We have 5 points in Tempest form, mandatory, because we are mana starved, my god. Silent Protector, which gives us a whole lot of armor with an active totem, which should always be the case. And of course also more attack speed when we have an active totem, which is almost always the case. We pick up a little bit of Stormbringer here, and a little bit of Spell Lightning. Just very good value notes that help us travel forward. 8 points in Rune of Awe for more spell damage. We have 5 points in Elemental Shrine, which helps us get a much more amount of mana regen per 3 attunement, which is mandatory. I'm hoping that if I keep pushing my attunement higher and higher, my mana issues will probably go away a little bit, but who knows. This has otherwise been very, very lovely until this point, though. We have Dervish and Rhythm of Thunder, mostly for travel nodes, so we can reach 5 points of Thunder Strike, which is incredible. Chance for additional Storm Bolts, but also attack speed bonus, just incredible. We have 5 points in Conflux, so we can pick up the 5-point bonus for the double cast, but also a little bit of tank, which is really, really nice, actually. And then because we are totem-based, we pump 8 points in Ascended Circle for a massive spell damage bonus on the active totem, which is really, really nice, which is also one of the reasons we probably want more spell damage mods on, let's say, certain things like the blessings, right, or at least the idols right here, other than cold damage bonuses, right? So keep that in mind on how you gear, but you can only decide what you get based on what you are given and what you can craft. So keep an open mind. In terms of skills, this is where the magic happens. We have the primary name of the game, the Gathering Storm. It's a very lovely one. We are still going all the way to the left for Rending Vortex for the crit chance per Maelstrom, which pretty much helps us with a little bit of crit chance cap out our crit. Very, very good, very strong. We also pick up Lightning Strikes twice, because that's just repeating of the Storm Bolts. Very, very good. As it stands right now, we go down through Wind Fury, Thunderous Strikes, and then Excited Bolts to pick up 2 White Storm. This is one of the reasons, at least the Excited Bolts is one of the reasons we have so much mana issues, I'm afraid. So it might be that we have to give this up, but I don't want to. We do try to solve some of the issues with Mana Fused Storm to get some more mana back. And we also pick up 2 points of Island Cleaver to get Tempest Weapon, since we are scaling spell power through melee attacks, basically. As well as Energized by the Sky for more additional storm stacks. This is actually not that much of a problem, but it's not helping. So it is on the chopping board. But yes, for now, it's very, very good. Warcry, we pick up some basic Whirlpool action on the left, together with the Cleanse and the Healing. Just quality of life. At the bottom here, we pick up the Berserker nodes, the Brutality, and the Fury Strikes. I've opted for the last 2 points to also go into Brutality for more attack speed ultimately, which is very, very nice. And we also pick up Shallow Breath for 50% reduction in cooldown, which allows us to benefit more from the Whirlpool node here, but also make sure that we can continuously reapply the Berserk and all the benefits it gives. It's very, very good. Some people are also opting for Ferocity. This is an option I am contemplating, perhaps even over Shallow Breath, because we are crit based, and with this Battle Cry node right here, we won't need any crit on our gear. So it seems like that might be a very tasty thing to consider. I'm not sure, we have to test that out, but that's a work in progress. Maelstrom, just the usual contenders. We are picking up Wind Fury. I've picked up Essence of Debris as well for dodge and stun chance that you have to go through, which is very, very nice. And on top of that, we do pick up the mandatory power of the Storm here, which allows us to cast Storm Bolts if we have more than 6 stacks, with a little bit of AoE added to it, as well as reducing the 2 right here, or with 2 right here to make this 4, so every single time we Warcry, which gives us 4, it's immediately active. If you notice, however, that the Maelstroms are up more than often than not, you can unspec this and spec this into Calm to maybe help with some of the mana mitigation, or perhaps you're feeling particularly frisky and you get more AoE, or you can even pick up the Chill Chance here to take advantage of your build in slow. So you don't have to get that onto gear to benefit from it, which is actually quite nice. But it's entirely up to you on how you feel and what your gear level is like, right? Storm Totem, it's pretty much just a steroid for us. We pick up the static field, 4 points of Storm Rider, 3 points of Grounding Conduit. As long as our Storm Totem is doing its work, we're getting a lot of benefits, including movement speed. So once you have that relic right here, you are kind of just zooming more often than not. It's going to be very, very good. On the right side, we pick up Blizzard. It's mostly there to apply chill, which is very, very nice, and also helps with an AoE application of the debuff, which helps the facilitation of Storm Rider and alternatively also the Grounding Conduit based on the conversion and how that works. We pick up 2 speed on Lightning Raider so we can get the Storm's Reach. More AoE is very nice, but it's mandatory to pick up the Shock Fury, which allows us to actually benefit a little bit on our melee damage through melee lightning damage bonuses, which is nice. Just a little bit more damage. I'm not sure if there's any better pickups here. If there are, by all means pop off. I guess you could remove some of the damage here and pick up a slow debuff right here if you wanted to. You could do that. But otherwise, I'm very much enjoying this particular setup. And then on the Thorn Totem, the usual suspects, more totems, all the way up to the Circle Summon Totem. So instead of like summoning one totem at a time, we are summoning all of the totems all of the time, which is very, very nice. Down here we have some travel nodes, but the most important one is the Titan's Mane. So we actually have totems that aim as opposed to kind of spray and pray. And then we add a little bit of pierce just to add to the AoE application aspect of it. Very comfortable, very nice. And then down here we pick up 4 points of shred armor, just so that you can shred armor more and more. If I had excess points, I might fill this out. I'm also contemplating the value of Memories of Eterra since we have such mana issues. Maybe we can do something with this. I'm not sure yet. But who knows? Right now, this is what I'm working with. Hopefully it will guide you into the future. I'm going to continue to improve my build. Enjoy the Gathering Storm Shaman. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like. Hit the subscribe button, and if you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments below or join the Discord. Thank you so much. Have a good night. I'm out.